So, Ricky Stenhouse, NASCAR driver, Xfinity champion. If you could describe this dinner with racers in one word, what would it be?
Free. Stole it.
All right, Larson.
Just as free. Just as free.
Three words.
Tag along.
Like 4
That's
words.
3 words.
Tag along.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Blaney with the same squad.
I'm a guest. So
Guest.
It's a guest.
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 Yeah.
I
Guest
like
is
it.
your word.
Yeah.
All right.
And now for Dinner with Racers, presented by
Continental Tire.
with your hosts, Ryan Eversley and Sean Heckman.
Placeholder radio sound. I'm a driver. I'm very angry. This is the sound of a driver on the radio during a race.
What do you think I should order?
Welcome to Dinner with Racers. I'm Ryan Eversley alongside my partner, Sean Heckman, who has a new app he likes on his phone. And listening, we're currently driving to LAX. It's day 40 of our Season 2 trip. It'll probably be the last time we do it this way because, holy crap, is this a lot of work.
40 days in a car, driving 12,000 miles across 29 states.
The
is
only
really
reason,
tough.
the only reason we're sane is because this Honda Odyssey is so equipped because it literally has been able to handle all the crap we've put it through. We've driven through every type of weather you can think of, multiple terrains. The Continental Tires held out awesome. We had plenty of storage so that we could fill the car up with all the recording equipment and video stuff and 2 flat Bill O'Reillys and had no issues the whole time. So that was really cool. This trip we ended up going to Las Vegas for the SEMA show, which I was doing social media for Continental Tire, so check out their Twitter account if you want to see what that was about. And one of the guests that we had talked about getting for a little while was Ricky Stenhouse. Ricky was going to be at SEMA, so it worked out with his schedule that he could meet us for lunch one day.
So for those who don't know Ricky's background, started out as your classic kind of dirt track, oval, short track specialist. Actually raced very closely with Bryan Clauson, who we had on last season.
Right.
And they were very, very close friends. They even lived together for a little while. So Ricky was eventually signed fairly young to a Roush development deal and has since been part of Roush Industries for basically his whole career. Drove with them in ARCA, then went into what's now the Xfinity Series, won 2 championships, and is now an active Roush driver in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series and doing very well. So getting him was definitely cool. So here's the thing about Ricky. We didn't know him, and so we set up a restaurant near SEMA for him to meet up with us, and I get a text from him right as on time, and he's like, hey, I'm outside. Where do I go? So I go out to grab him. I walk outside, and standing with him is his buddy Aaron.
His friend Aaron, yeah.
And then Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney, who are also NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers. Kyle is currently a driver for Chip Ganassi Racing.
Right.
And Ryan currently drives for the Wood Brothers.
That's right.
Which is, and he's a Penske development driver.
Correct.
So I'm like, all right,
This
this is what we're doing.
Yeah, so we generally have 3 headsets ready to go. We started putting out a 4th one just in case somebody comes up and gets involved. And
It's usually like at a bar in case a drunk person shows up. Like it's never because Kyle Larson's
Right,
gonna
it's
join.
never because 2 other Sprint Cup stars are going to be there. So, Heckman turns the corner and he goes, yep, this is happening. And I look and I'm like, oh, there's Kyle Larson. And then I'm like, oh, it's Blaney, who's a buddy of mine.
Right.
So I'm like, what are you doing here? And so it just kind of turned into this funny,
Yeah.
weird way of getting 3 NASCAR stars on at once. We don't like to interview 2 guests at once unless it's specific to a storyline. So in this case, we obviously took the exception, and I think if you listen, you might see why, because sometimes you just start talking to another driver, and you're like, oh, right, I should have said who I was asking a question to.
But the big technical thing is we were not equipped for effectively 5 headsets.
Right.
Because Ryan and I have headsets. We only had 1 headset out for Ricky.
Yeah.
And we literally only have 1 other headset with us, which basically Blaney and Larson had to share between each other.
Right.
So there might be these weird moments where somebody's like talking, off sound.
Right.
Or you don't know who's talking. That's because the headset keeps getting passed between Larson and Blaney.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know that Ricky really knew what he was walking into, but Larson and Blaney had 0 clue what the hell they were walking into.
Well, I think when Blaney saw me, because he and I are friends from outside of the podcast, he was like, oh, because I just saw him like 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, and I said to him, I was like, hey, you should be on our show. And he's like, yeah, totally. And then that's how we get him. in a completely random way. So it was just a funny situation, but cool to talk to those guys. The thing I liked about the whole episode, and I already knew this about Ryan, but seeing it from Kyle and Ricky, is they're just dudes. They were totally just dudes. At no point was there any sort of ego from them. You know, they were just like happy to have a free lunch basically, and talk racing for a little while. And Ricky did a really nice job of talking about Bryan Clauson and his life, which we really appreciated and was the reason we wanted him on in the first place. They talked about Max Jones, his battle with Scott Speed through the ARCA Championship, as well as like the difference between sports car racing and road racing. And you might not be a NASCAR fan, but this will be an interesting episode just because you get to kind of hear what three basically future stars of the sport are like when they're just hanging out with their buddies.
And Kyle Larson goes out of his way to try and get himself fired because Max Jones, who we had on a few episodes ago, is his boss, and yet Kyle won't stop calling him an old man.
Yeah, he just happily calls him an old man.
As though that's not his boss.
Yeah, right.
And doesn't stop. But we also talk about Kyle racing at the Rolex 24. And
which was really cool.
Which is his background.
He thought Jordan Taylor was like 100 years old. So
the same age.
Just things like that came out of it that were pretty unique. So
without further ado, enjoy originally Ricky Stenhouse turned Ricky Stenhouse, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Dinner with Racers Season 2.
Continental Tire.
All right, we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, no way. Yeah. Not him. You're not allowed. Hanging out.
Figured we all needed to eat. So.
What's that? Try not to die.
So basically, does anybody know what the we're doing? It's fine, you can say it now.
I kind of don't know. He said I'll do it. Don't have to wait in line.
The food is free at least. All right, so
Sweet, I haven't been paid for anything this week so far.
that's a nice job.
Of course, racers are always super cheap.
I was going to say, I haven't
trying to get
either.
by without paying anything.
You're right.
So when you got roped into this, you know, we figured it would just be you showing up having no damn clue what you were walking into.
Oh, yeah.
And then you show up with your posse.
Well, I roped him into it. I told him, I was like, hey, I got to go to this
Right.
interview during lunch. It's at this Italian place. They were like, well, we're hungry, so I just roped them into coming.
Now you're good. And so Kyle, you have no idea what you're doing.
I have zero.
You have no idea who we are. You don't know what the hell this thing is.
I don't.
But you wanted Italian food.
I love Italians. So
All right.
Yeah,
All
that'll
right.
work.
And we don't have to wait in line, so.
All right.
The line's long.
Yeah.
The line's super long.
So these two dudes were standing in front of me when I walked up, and they just started to walk in behind the sign. And I don't know if you met Amanda, like the hostess, like
Yeah.
kind of cute chick.
Yeah.
She's like, behind the sign, like started screaming at him. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh, shit, I'm not going in.
Yeah.
So then they get to me, and I'm like, hey, we called about a podcast. Oh, right this way, guys. Yeah, we'll help you out. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
It's the first time in our lives we've been the cool guys somewhere. So.
Yeah, well, I can tell you. So we were somewhere in that SEMA show somewhere.
Right.
And I looked down at the time. I'm like, oh, man, we got to get to walking
Right.
Yeah.
that way.
Because this is a huge deal.
And I
The
was like, can't be
podcast,
late.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
can't
I
be
mean,
late,
this is
And
we will make or break your career being on this podcast.
This could be it,
So
man.
this could be
This
it.
could
I
be
hope
it.
I hope you get mine going back the right way.
Oh.
But anyways, we started walking, and I didn't know if we were gonna make it on time, but I mean, we were spot on 12 o'clock outside.
Nice. Okay.
That was good.
All right. No,
We like to be on time,
We passed the test. I'm
And
good.
then-
and we like a free meal, like I said. So.
I hear you. And then you brought Blaney, who the first thing he
Thumbs up.
asked is like,
Kyle
like,
could not get that headset off quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The first thing
We've
out
only
of,
got 4, so
the
this is what
first
it's
thing
gonna
out of
be.
his mouth is like, are they serving alcohol yet?
They serve it alcohol.
By the
I
way,
forgot I'm in
it's,
Vegas.
it's
They do
Vegas.
all the time,
Yeah.
Forgot where I was.
They don't turn it off.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. It's a good thing.
We talked Ryan into coming early.
Yeah, they did. Which
Well,
was
first
nice.
off, he
Because you guys are all,
asked us, "Hey, are y'all going to SEMA?" We were like, "Yeah." We assumed he was coming, like
Yeah.
when we were, and
Right.
he's like, "Well, I'm not coming until Thursday."
Yeah.
And we're like,
At
"Well,
least-
we're leaving Thursday, so
Yeah, exactly.
maybe come early." So
because you guys are going straight to Phoenix from here, right?
Texas.
Texas and then Phoenix.
Texas,
Texas,
Phoenix,
Texas,
Homestead, 3 more.
Yeah,
Not that I'm
Yeah.
counting.
Well, I got to assume part of the fun of Vegas for you guys is like, I assume no one really knows who you are out here.
Not at the SEMA show.
Yeah.
SEMA.
A few people have
Show.
stopped, but
Sure.
not really.
Yeah.
I was stopped by Joey Logano. It was great.
Did you want your
Yeah,
autograph?
out of hundreds of thousands of people, Joey Logano stopped me. It was
Today?
great. Today, yeah, we passed him. You guys kept walking.
I never saw.
Chump. Yeah.
All I heard was young Ryan Blaney, and I turned around. He's the only one who calls me that. So I had to stop for a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys didn't miss a step. I was like, well, my guys are leaving
My
me.
guys are leaving. I gotta
I
go.
got to go. I have no idea where I'm at.
So Blaney and I were just hanging out in Atlanta like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, we got to get you on the podcast at some point. This is not how I envisioned it taking place because this is Ricky's episode.
Well, there you go. So
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
So,
Knocking
check
yours off.
mark.
Check
All right,
mark.
got it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, cool.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted my podcast to be cool, so I tried to bring special guests.
Bring your
in.
crew.
Right.
No,
right.
I understand that. So is this-
Blaney's got to pay for his own food though.
Yeah.
But everybody else is okay.
After all the stuff I did for you in
You're like,
Atlanta,
whoa. So do you guys have like appearances you had to do while you're here? Like
Kyle's got a dinner tonight. Ryan's got stuff tomorrow. I did an appearance yesterday.
Okay.
But then I brought my buddy out here, Aaron. He's never been to Vegas.
That's
and,
welcome.
Yeah.
He likes cars, so I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good place to see.
So
I did
he's
some
been
ride-alongs
amazed.
yesterday.
Kyle gave ride-alongs
About
yesterday.
crashed both
or in the
my
Corvettes
ride-alongs.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the Corvettes, knocked a lot of cones over, and then I went over to one of our head PR guys at our shop. His brother-in-law is the CMO of Arcticat, so we went over there and they let me ride around in their
Okay.
side-by-sides and
Yeah.
biked it up, got in the wall a little bit. But
Typical drivers.
yeah, it was fun.
Do they give you shit or are they just like, nah, it's okay, it's Kyle Larson, he can do that?
Yeah, no, Robbie Gordon was over there, and he was yeah, there you go. He was
He's
pumped.
already
He was
on
like,
fire.
He told me,
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
that's the type
Yeah.
of guy you need to give demos to, or
Yeah.
let them take demo rides out.
That's awesome. You get to do a lot of stuff. Would you ever go do the Robbie Gordon truck
Super
series?
trucks?
Yeah.
Oh.
Would they let you? Would your people let you do that?
I don't know. I've never thought about it
Oh,
or
dude.
asked. So
Yeah, that'd be.
I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do it for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, you guys are all used
They
to
look
driving
fun.
like crazy sprint cars and things like that. Like that series would be
they
like
launch
right at
over
home for
those
you.
jumps
Right.
too. I
I
mean,
mean, they
they're.
seem somewhat safe too. So
I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
this year.
There's, yeah,
really.
One guy had his
The-
jaw ripped off.
yeah. The country of Australia might not agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Mingay, is that his name?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's the guy's name. Yeah. Basically,
But
his
the-
entire jaw got ripped off.
Yeah.
He's doing
He
better
gets to
now. though.
race,
He's
though.
doing better now.
He's good. He's actually like they had a video of him talking. I mean, you can kind of understand what he's saying.
Yeah. No, they look fun. We're gonna ride. Vaughn Gitten's gonna
Oh.
give rides out today, and
Cool.
so
Nice.
Aaron's gonna ride. I think Ryan and I. Kyle might not. A little conflict of interest.
Right.
Chevy
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
So
I don't really want to risk getting in trouble.
get it. Right. So where are you guys staying?
the Encore.
Okay, right on.
Ryan's at Venetian.
Yeah,
Slumming it.
I think Kyle's gonna pull an all-nighter tonight.
Yeah, I got to leave the airport at 6 in the morning. So
Yeah,
I got lots of sleep last night. We went to bed at like 11. I was
Yeah,
up
we
at
went to bed
like
early for
8:30,
Vegas
so-
time
Wow,
last night.
especially.
right.
So we knew Ryan was coming, and he likes to. He's the only one here with alcohol. So
Already.
Ricky and I knew we had to get our sleep in last night if we want to hang with him.
Probably throw up all over this table. I'm good.
wants
man.
some.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, so we're going to the PBR tonight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Right on.
that was kind of another selling point to coming to SEMA. is
Right.
PBR starts tonight, so I got some buddies that ride, and so I'd like to go out to that. So
Is that at South Point?
no, they do. I think they do like their draws and stuff there, but
Yeah.
it's at the new arena over here,
Okay.
No.
right behind the New York. So.
yeah.
That'll be a cool venue. It's
Yeah.
used to be like at the Thomas and Mack Arena, like way off the strip, and so it like took forever to get there. Whether you car serviced it, drove, taxi, like it was a while to get there, and lines were crazy. So now everybody can just walk there. So
Right.
that'll be nice.
So is this the crew? I mean, is when you guys are Friday night?
Dirt Vision.
Is this it?
Kyle and I spend a lot of time together.
You guys race
Well,
all
you
the
guys
dirt
are-
stuff.
I would say
Yeah.
Ryan
Yeah.
spends a lot of time with Chase.
Chase
Yeah.
and Bubba.
Bubba. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kyle and I watch dirt racing every
Season's
Friday and
over now,
Saturday.
though,
Yeah,
so
season's over. Not sure what we're gonna do the next.
Little Rock's on this week. Short
Yeah.
track.
Well, I won't ask about game because I'm not getting anybody in trouble. But who parties hardest?
Oh,
Aaron,
Ryan.
Aaron, you're the objective one here. Who parties the hardest in this group?
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, from what I heard.
All right.
Yeah, Blaney's all right. We went out like 3 weeks ago. It was like a random Monday night too.
How do you
that
two
what
know
you-
each
A
other?
random
Do that.
Monday night.
Just through social media.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All your vines and all your stuff. I feel like you're
okay.
pretty creative.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually how we got kind of going back and forth on Vine one day, like a long time
Which,
ago.
by the way, R.I.P. Vine, right?
Yeah. Somebody sent me a text the other day, like, "Oh man, you bummed?" I'm like, "I haven't opened that app in a year."
Yeah.
Like, I don't. But he was in town doing. Are you even allowed to talk about that? Is it like? He's doing a movie thing, but we were
Yeah,
out.
you know, he's big time.
Yeah,
in the movie.
he is just a cameo. Yeah.
You delivered a cake?
I was there the day before.
Yeah,
I was
right.
Okay, so
I
you
was
guys
a
were all
limo
in it?
driver.
Oh,
no,
nice.
they didn't ask me.
Oh. So Ricky, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on is because last season we had Bryan Clauson on, who
Yeah.
we know you're very close to him, and Sean and I just kind of coincidentally both were fans of his through different reasons. I always thought it was cool that he and Dario had that like kind of weird team up
Yeah.
deal at the time when Ganassi wasn't really strong in the Xfinity series, and neither of them really got to show how good they really were.
No doubt.
And as a road racer, I like Andy Lally's one of my best friends.
Yep.
So I like seeing the guys that get to go over and road race or try it, you know, and I want to see him succeed on the same time. Like when Brendan Gaughan comes and runs in the Rolex, we're like always helping him, you know.
Yeah.
And, it's important to me like to see like a cross between the types of racing, because a lot of sports car racing fans are snobs. Like Landon Castle was telling us the other day, he's like, "You sported car guys, man." It's like, no,
Yeah,
we're
wait a
just
minute.
racers. We're just racers.
Yeah.
So when we had Bryan on, he was awesome, a super humble guy, and we just had a great time with him. And when obviously he unfortunately passed, a lot of people were reaching out to us like from the road racing side that were like, "Hey, thanks to your podcast, we got to know about that guy
that's
and everything."
cool. That's super cool.
So we wanted to kind of have you just, you know, we obviously want to talk about your career as well, but we'd love to hear just some Bryan Clauson stories from your days racing with him.
We
and
love
stuff.
talking about Bryan. I mean, he was, like you said, so humble, so good. But he was so good.
Right.
You know, I think that's the kind of, you know, what everybody liked about Bryan is, you know, he would just show up, do his business, and you know, not say too much about anything. And you know, I think Bryan was always one of those that had a ton of fans. Was always really good with the fans. You know, I was super bummed when I moved to North Carolina and moved in with him, and that was during that transition of, you know, Ganassi and, you know, DEI, I think, you know, getting Earnhardt Ganassi going, and then him kind of being the odd man out on the Xfinity stuff. And you know, I didn't think, like you said, he got really the opportunity to show how good he really was. I mean, he had some great runs in that car, and I think if, you know, people would have paid attention, it's like, hey, that equipment wasn't the greatest then. You know, he ran in the top 5. I mean, he had some really good runs. You know, I wish he got to show that more often, because I think what a lot of people forget about Bryan is, I mean, he's a really good dirt racer, but he won a lot of pavement, midget, and sprint car races. I mean, that's really kind of where everybody started noticing Bryan on a bigger stage, was the USAC midget and sprint car races. And I think you know, him winning at like Salem and, you know, the midget and sprint car, and you know, going to like Columbus and all those places, that's kind of where he got known. So like everybody thinks of him as just a dirt guy, but he was really good on both sides of it. You know, his ARCA career was good. And, you know, we were always super competitive, no matter what we did. So when we lived together, it was every day we would do something that ended up into a competition. Whether, you know, we'll go bowling, and, you know, it'd be a super competition bowl, and we'd walk out and then, you know, hit the Papa Shot on the way out just for another different competition. You know, and it's over the last, I was super, you know, glad that this past summer I was able to go race sprint cars with him for a week. We spent my off week in June or July, whatever it was, racing sprint cars. We rode up and down the road in the motorhome for a solid week, and it was super fun to
just racing,
to get back racing with him. You know, because Bryan was kind of always a step ahead, I feel like, of where my career was. Like, he had got to NASCAR and, you know, ARCA and doing all that. And then I transitioned over and was running ARCA while he was in the Xfinity series. And then I got an opportunity to go to the Xfinity series. And we were working as hard as we could to get him in our trucks at Roush Fenway. And we kind of had him there. And then one of the guys running the trucks that I think he was going to replace ended up winning a race like the week before Bryan was going to sign. I was like, dang it. So we were trying to get him in the trucks, to get him into the organization to, let him, keep doing that. But, he's like, hey, I'm not racing this anymore. I'll go back and race sprint cars. Didn't skip a beat. And
he never, when we talked to him, he never had like a sense of, I didn't get my break or like it's not fair. He was like, the whole time he's like, yeah, but now I get to do this and I love doing this and I get to race the Indy 500. And it's like there was no chip on his shoulder whatsoever, which is unique for a young man.
That bitterness you would have expected.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, if I was in that position, I'd be probably kind of pissed off. Like, dang it. Like, I didn't really feel like I got a fair shake at doing it.
Right.
But for him to go back and set all the records that he set in sprint cars was really cool.
I ordered a couple commemorative shirts for him, and the receipt still showed Lauren at Bryan Clauson's kind of running that whole deal. Is she still
she is working her butt off.
So she's single-handedly doing all the...
Oh, she single-handedly did it to begin with.
Right.
When they would get shirts, ordered, she would always kind of lay them out throughout her house and, get them all packaged up and sent.
Right.
Well, as soon as everything happened, obviously a lot of people flooded their PayPal account and it locked it up. And, and so it took forever to figure out who ordered what. Like, they had to manually go in and do that. So there were some people that weren't patient with her.
Right.
There was, but I think a lot of people didn't realize that she was like kind of trying to do everything on her own. And it was super neat to see how many people, reached out, ordered. Yep. And if you'd have seen some of the boxes, and I know she's posted some of it, but the boxes and T-shirts that were shipping out, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was super neat. And like, now the end of the season, you go to Charlotte last week, and I mean, you see a ton of Bryan shirts, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah, we were seeing him at some of the sports car races the second half of this year.
Yeah.
I guess one of his IndyCar engineers works on one of the Continental Tire Series teams.
Yeah.
And so they had BC on the car, like the whole side of this Mini Cooper was his logo,
awesome.
which is like, it's just like a different world, but it still resonated with a lot of people.
Like you said, I think that was the cool thing about Bryan is he, was friends with everybody, and he would try anything and run anything, and I think when all of that went down, to see the whole racing community, sports car racers, IndyCar racers, sprint cars, NASCAR, I think everybody kind of coming together and showing his whole family support and love.
Right.
It was really neat to see.
Yeah.
Right.
And helped everybody kind of get past it and get
it's like the one shining light out of a terrible situation.
It's you still go to the racetrack, and at Charlotte is, we've kind of accepted the fact that everything happened, but then all of a sudden, they honored him at the Charlotte race at the World Finals, and things like that are super cool.
Yeah.
Right. So kind of going back to you now. So like you said, you were maybe a year or two behind where Bryan was at when you had your success in USAC and then sort of the call came to start doing stock cars for yourself. What did you take away from that? Because the thing that I remember with Bryan was he said his biggest mistake was he wasn't selfish enough when he went into the Ganassi deal in terms of how he should have taken care of himself and what he should have demanded.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, and I think a lot of people, when I first got into running the stock cars, like I ran ARCA, and I got one seat. And I should have demanded, like, hey, I need my seats in every car. I just took some old seats and put them in cars and kind of made them fit.
Right.
Well, anytime I ran that car, like, I just didn't feel comfortable enough. I didn't run well enough. But you didn't want to come in and say, hey, can you change this or change
how old
that?
are you at this point?
I was 19 or 20.
Yeah, you don't want to be the 19-year-old stomping your foot.
So, like, I was, like, just kind of made do.
Right.
And, I think there's times to make do with what you're doing. But when you get over to especially the Xfinity, the Cup level, you got to make sure things are right for you. And that was one thing that I learned in my ARCA career pretty early, that I don't want to make do and not feel comfortable in the race car.
Right.
Especially with, I think at that point in time, you don't really think about safety.
Yeah, you just want to drive something.
You just want to drive something.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing as in sprint cars growing up. Somebody calls, when I was running for Tony in 2007, USAC stuff, a local guy calls, say, hey, you want to run my car on the weekend? You're not racing a USAC car. And you're like, sure. And you go run it, and you're like, probably shouldn't have ran it.
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't the safest thing to do.
Right. And the result sheet's not going to show a car that was ill-prepared or didn't have a seat. Yeah.
So after I ran a couple of those, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to run my USAC, unless it's a well-prepared car. So that's some of the things that I learned fairly early on that I think has kind of helped me, especially in back when I was running, really well in the Nationwide Series. And, I think making sure that everything's at least the way you think it should be.
Right. So speaking of ARCA, your ARCA career obviously kind of came to a close with a really interesting situation with Scott Speed.
Yeah.
I don't know that a lot of people outside of stock car racing really knew that story. First off, are you guys cool now?
Yeah, no, I see him and talk to him. And
we watched the YouTube clip earlier.
Yeah, I feel
just to kind of get
really good about where I ended up. And he seems super happy with doing what he's doing. I mean, which I've never really seen him super unhappy. After that,
he's like,
deal. He's just like,
whatever.
I don't really care.
Whatever.
So no, I saw him out at go-kart track the other maybe a month ago.
Right.
And we were out racing go-karts together. So we really haven't talked about that situation. But
to give a background for some of our listeners, basically you guys are fighting for the championship.
Yeah, it was basically just up to me and him really the whole season.
Yeah.
I mean, the field was really stout that we had in ARCA, but it was basically like Ricky or Scott's going to win the championship.
Right.
And we were at Talladega, and I blew a right rear tire and kind of put us out of that race. I don't know, this was 2008. I can't remember exactly which track was which, but we went to Salem, and we had just come out of the pits, and in the middle of the back straightaway, and it was the old school cars, so the nose went under the bumpers, and
really
when you ran up and hit somebody, it really jacked the rear end up. Well, he just crashed me in the middle of the back straightaway at Salem, and I think I was leading. He was running second or something like that. And so I went back to the shop, and Jack was like, well, just crash him. All right.
Just wreck him.
Yeah, so Jack, that was before his last plane crash, and I think every plane crash he's kind of gotten a little bit calmer, and he was still kind of wide open then. And so he's like, do what you got to do. I was like, okay.
Thanks, boss.
And, coming from sprint cars, you really, other than like a short slide job, maybe trying to clear somebody, you don't really wreck anybody on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, we were at Toledo, and I knew my only chance to win the championship was, he would have to have a bad run. I felt like we had a car that could win, but at that point, just winning wasn't going to get it done. And so we were running behind him, and I had passed him right before the caution came out. Kind of roughed him up a couple times, but then I stayed behind him. I passed him when caution came out, and I got behind him. And my spotter's like, hey, you're supposed to be in front of him. And I was like, I'm good right here. And so, restart later, and, we're running around, and I just kind of carried him all the way down the back straightaway.
Right.
And into turn 3. And then I was like, okay, now we'll go win this race. And should be good. And he was, basically like Matt Kenseth did in Logano.
Right.
Days of Thunder, just, put some tires on it. Let's go.
Yeah, he tried to wreck you so bad he wrecked himself.
Oh, just
as big.
Yeah, it destroyed both. It was it was big. So I knew what he was doing, and I was going down the front straightaway, and I tried to drive it off into turn 1 as far as I could to clear him.
Yeah.
And maybe he would miss.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. So That was a pretty tough hit. It like bit my truck arms. It like threw the batteries out. I mean, it was big.
Yeah.
Backed it in the fence. And but man, we had like, it was cool because like I pull in, they get me like into the infield, and every ARCA team out there is working on my car.
Yeah.
And I look over at his car, and it's just his team, and I was like, this is cool. Like the whole ARCA garage is over here working on my car, trying to get it back going.
Right.
It didn't matter. We both gave it away, and I think Allgaier won a championship.
Yeah.
And then I think like his sponsor gave him like a Dodge Viper for winning the championship. I'm like, wait a minute, like
That's my car, man.
yeah, like we just gave that to you.
Right.
So yeah, it was a crazy season. I think there was 5 of us that literally came into the last race with a chance to win the championship.
Right.
We didn't win it.
Yeah, if you get a chance and you're listening, it's on YouTube. Just type in
it's
like
on
Scott Speed, Stenhouse. Yeah.
Toledo.
Toledo's the first thing.
2008.
Yeah.
But you were kind of the trailing edge of that kind of driver development thing where guys were coming out of USAC or open wheels and sort of coming in. What was the process to get discovered at the time? Like in sports cars, we have amazing tales of guys like putting their names with like the little pull-off tags trying to get hired. But like, was it?
Oh, in
was
the
it like that
bathroom?
USAC? Yeah.
Like where people sell trailers.
Yeah. That's what Buddy
Yeah.
Andy did that.
Yeah, Lally did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear
It didn't
about
work.
that.
Yeah, so he would actually pull a couple off of his own.
Oh, to
So
make
make
it
it
think
look
like,
like he's
man,
like,
people
people
are
are
interested. That's not a bad idea. I know Carl had like business cards.
Oh yeah, we heard a story about
which
this.
I had some business cards too.
Yeah.
I don't really know if anybody got one that said, "Hey, I'm gonna hire this kid," but I did have some, and I still got some left. I got those at the house. They're pretty solid. But no, I ran go-karts from age 6 to 15, and then I started
This is out
racing
in
sprint
Missouri?
cars. Mississippi.
Excuse me.
And so then I started racing sprint cars when I was 15, and I was racing for my dad and another guy, local guy at home that my dad built engines for. He owned an automotive service there, and so I was racing sprint cars, and I was starting to have some success. Went to Ohio and ran and had some good wins and some good races, and then in 2007, I went to Copper on Dirt out in Manzanita, and I was going to run a Silver Crown car, which Carl Edwards had his name kind of associated with it. They were a Ford team. They got a Roush Yates engine, and so they ran USAC Silver Crown cars. And it was all buddies that grew up racing with my dad. And so, like, I worked at that shop, and in turn, I got to drive the Silver Crown car. Right. So I'd go out there and work every day, and we were going out to Manzanita. I'm like, hey, do we have any room? I want to throw my dad's sprint car in the hauler. Yeah. And if we have room, and I want to run a sprint car, a non-wing sprint car, and a Silver Crown car out at the USAC Copper on Dirt out in Manzanita. And all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, throw it in. I put my car in, put my dad, we had a milk crate full of shocks, and threw a couple wheels and tires and rolled on. And so then when we got out there, we ended up winning the Silver Crown race and the sprint car race in the same night. We didn't have a midget. I think Corey Cruzman ended up winning the midget race or something. And Tony Stewart had his non-wing sprint cars out there. And so after we had ran, Jack Yaley actually had called and wanted me to run his car in Indiana. And at this time, I'd raced for my dad for 3 years. And my dad told me, hey, we're going to do this like college. You can race for like 3.5 years or so, and
Beat it.
After that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a cool opportunity. I was, somebody called and wanted me to race their, non-wing car up in Indiana. And so J.J. Yaley's dad called and wanted me to do that. And, of course, I agreed. I didn't have anything else to do. I'm like, yeah, we'll go do that. Well, that was in February. Jack Yaley he lives out in Arizona. He wasn't going to get to Indiana until the beginning of April.
Okay.
Jeff Walker called, who owns really good race cars in Indiana and had a lot of success winning non-wing sprint car races around there. Called and said, hey, what are you doing in the month of March? I got a car, and come up and race. And so I called Jack Yaley. It's like, hey, you're not going to be up here till April. I want to go run for Jeff until you get here. And then, when you get here, we'll go race. Around that same time period, Tracy Hines was driving for Tony. Well, he got hurt.
Okay.
Jay Drake was managing Tony Stewart's sprint car team, called me and said, hey, we got an opportunity. Tracy got hurt.
Right.
Do you want to come run the full USAC schedule in the 21 car? I'm like, God, I can't pass this up. I was like, Jack Yaley's going to be pissed, but I just got to go do it.
You got to be selfish, right?
So we went, and I ended up driving for Tony. The next week we went, I'd really never ran pavement, and the next week we went to the first race I ran for him was Iowa in a midget and sprint car. Had no clue what I was doing. It was not a good outing.
Right.
And then the next week we went to Hobstadt, Indiana in the midget, and we won. I was like, oh, perfect. This is good way to start the dirt side of things. And so we ended up having a good year, but I guess to transition back a little bit, after I ran Copper on Dirt in Carl's car with the Ford and things like that, I flew to North Carolina and met with Roush Fenway, and at the time Max Jones was the competition director or the general manager. I met with him and met Jack and was basically like, hey, what do I need to do to get over here and get a shot at running some stock cars? And they were like, just go keep winning. I was like, okay.
Right.
I'll call you later. So then at that time, when Tony and them called, I was like, hey, I called Roush. I was like, I got an opportunity. I know it's with Chevrolet, but it's going to give me some asphalt experience. I've never really ran asphalt. And they were like, okay, well, we'll let Chevrolet, pay for you to go run some asphalt, with the midgets and sprint car. And then at the end of the year, we'll get you back.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So I ran literally that whole year, and then we won, I think, 10 or 11 races, and we ended up signing with Roush Fenway at the end of 2007, tested some ARCA cars. So at the end of 2007, we were at the USAC banquet, and I told Chevy, I was like, hey, I got this opportunity. Right. I'm going to go, run Roush Fenway, the ARCA car. I know it's with Ford, but they're like, okay, well, we'll let you go figure out stock cars, and then we'll get you back. So it's kind of like a back and forth. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And, so then we've been with Roush Fenway ever since.
Yeah.
And Jack's been super great. He, ran me an ARCA with really out any sponsorship. We got some sponsorship towards the end of the year. And then, in my Nationwide Series career, we always had, half sponsorship, but we never had full sponsorship. But he was willing to pay out of his pocket and said, hey, we're gonna go racing. And it was super cool. Looking around, not many other owners do that in our sport. It's, hey, do you have a sponsor to pay for you to run? They're not going to do a full driver development program. And so I thought it was neat that Jack always did that. And definitely gave me an opportunity because I had no money to bring to the table.
Right. How's your spaghetti? Yeah, you.
Yeah, keep my mic in closer.
Don't get spaghetti all over that mic.
Murdered my spaghetti over here. It's really good.
So Kyle loves Italian, and I'm surprised he didn't get a salad. He'll probably end on a salad.
Nobody got sides, so I didn't want to be the only guy with a side salad. I love salad.
Does the diet change once the season ends?
No. Ricky, I don't know. Ricky might, but no, I'm not into healthy stuff, so I just eat whatever I want.
Well, what are you, 16?
24.
All right. It'll change as you get older.
35 pounds.
Getting up there, man.
So I don't really need to watch my weight.
Yeah.
So would you believe Max Jones did this with us the other day?
Did he?
Yeah.
That's
really
awesome.
did. Yeah.
I like Max.
Right.
He was out here?
Your boss, that guy. Yeah. He met us at Toast in Davidson.
Oh, okay.
And we had breakfast with him, and he literally sat down. The first thing he said, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
He's
Max
like, this isn't what I do.
It's cool now that Max is, with Colin and them at Ganassi, but he was always, I thought he was so cool, and I thought he did a great job at Roush Fenway, and he took some time off, and I think when he took some time off, I feel like he realized he kind of missed racing and going to the track, and so it was cool to see him come back, and I think he's done a obviously really good job over there with turning their program around and getting faster too. So I've always liked Max for for a long time.
He's a super cool guy, and he raced a lot of sports car racing stuff before he kind of moved over to management stuff with Roush. And he was one of my favorite dinners we've had because he respected the fact that we knew like information on him. He was oh wow, okay. I think he thought we were just gonna be like, tell us about Larson.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, I think when a lot of times when people walk in, they expect it's the Mad Dog Morning Show, and it's just us doing racing.
Right.
I always give Max crap about because he's so old. So I always give him crap about him racing back in the day.
All right,
Have you seen pictures of back when he raced?
He had like a mullet.
No, I want to see his hair. Cause
He had like a mullet thing for a little
I'll
while.
I'll have to find the pictures. We got pictures hanging up in the offices at Roush, and it's like back in the Trans Am days when I remember this one picture. There's like 10 people on this car after they had won because they won everything.
Yeah.
And Max was on there. I'll have to take some pictures to show
Okay.
you. They're cool. But Max, one of the stories I remember about Max is he called me. We were at the Kentucky ARCA race, and I was always so loose qualifying this car. And it was always impound, qualifying, and I never qualified very good. So we qualified like 12th or something in the ARCA race. And I was like, man, I know this isn't very good. But Max calls. He's like, what's wrong? I was like, Max, I don't know. I was like, we're going to race good. I know that. He goes, well, you should be qualified on the pole. I was like, I know. And then so we ended up winning the race, and I was like, oh, whew. I told him I felt like we could win the race, but, I wasn't 100% sure. But, yeah, so him and I can't remember if it was him or Jack in our competition meeting after one of the races. I finally did qualify on the pole. In that car, we kind of figured it out, and he said, what do you think? I was like, man, this is fun. He goes, it's not supposed to be fun. I was like, okay.
Sorry,
all right,
sir.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Not fun at all.
So I ran the Rolex now the last 3 years, and every year Max tells the same story. I think maybe he's a little senile because he is so old. But
did you enjoy your time at Ganassi?
No, yeah, I love Max. But he always same story every year. He'll talk about the headlights because he'd get ready to do his night shift or whatever, and the lights would start out like shooting on the racetrack, and then eventually all the bumps they'd start like going opposite directions, like the lights be pointed straight up in the air, and one's like straight on the ground. He's like, we had no lights.
Yeah, right. Well, now that the whole thing's lit up, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But I want to go back a step. What's old?
No,
Watch your mouth, young man.
I don't know what is Max. He's like
You're like,
60.
He's listening live. He's like, I knew it.
Max is what, like 62-ish?
Yeah.
My parents
I
are
think it's
60,
probably-
so he's got to be 60.
Yeah, I think he's up there like 60,
4 or
65.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
I
was
was Max.
Max?
Them.
Is that the
And
cutoff?
y'all might know, was Max part of Jack's when they won like 10, 24 hours in a row?
I think for some of them,
he was Trans Am, but
because he basically, he definitely was.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was part
to
of that
listen
era.
to like him and Jack like talk about that, like Jack was like, "Oh, Ford wanted me to go run the 24 hours," and like I told him I needed a year to get prepared, and so like he's like spent a year getting everything prepared to go do it.
Yeah.
And like people's like asked Jack like, "Hey, would you want to go back and do it?" He's like,
Yeah.
He goes, I'm like, I've never lost there. I'm not going back.
Yeah, right. Don't ruin the
That's it.
record.
Yeah, not ruin it.
Yeah. So you've done it now a bunch of times. I like telling the story about you getting
This
the
is
fast
Kyle
lap.
you're pointing at.
Oh, right. Yeah, you over
To
here.
our audio audience here. Kyle.
Kyle Larson. Got it. So you had the fast lap of the race last year, right?
2 years
2
ago.
years ago, I think we won.
And the year before that, you
I
got
was
out of the car
awful.
and you were like you were like a second off the best guys in the world in those cars.
Yeah, but
and you're like, ugh, I suck. And like there are other guys in the class that are like pro paid sports car guys that would like to be a second off of Pruitt. You know what I mean? But I like the fact that you were like kind of pissed at yourself, like, God, I suck in these things. And
Yeah, I
then you
was
come back
mad
a
at
year
myself.
later, you throw down like best lap of the race, and I was like, yeah, that kid's done this like twice.
Well,
That's cool.
Is that intimidating? I mean, you got, Pruitt's one thing, Dixon, but even like Jamie was like a world champion go-karter.
And Jamie's really, really good.
Yeah.
in those
Yeah,
cars.
that's what
No,
I'm saying.
I mean,
but, you're not a road course guy, really.
I'm definitely fourth string when I'm there, and I accept it. But no, the first year I had zero fun doing it. The off season for me, January is like
That's like
I want to go
1
like
month.
sprint car, midget racing.
Right.
and
Yeah.
I felt like it took a lot of time away from that, because I had to go that first year anyways. I had to go for 2 or 3 days before Chili Bowl, or no, something like that.
For the roar.
No. But even before the roar, I had to go for like 3 days.
Okay.
Then I went and raced something else, and then I came back for like the roar, which was like another 3 or 4 days, and then go to Chili Bowl, and then go back and do the Rolex, which is like a full week.
Right.
So I felt like I was, and then I'm in Daytona, a week later for the NASCAR stuff. So I felt like I was in Florida forever.
Yeah.
And I was there all that time, and I wasn't very good, so I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time in the car and get better. And then I don't know what changed for the second year, but the second year I was kind of good, right off the bat.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to do. Every year I've done it, I do like I get in the car at like 11 o'clock at night and go till 3 in the morning or so.
That's your prime time.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, but the track's got a lot of grip then,
Yeah.
and so I went to bed, with the fast lap of the race, and Dixon's getting in the car, me on the car over Dixon, and then we're running up front, and I remember going to bed. I'm like, God, I hope he doesn't beat my lap.
Right.
It's like I want to.
That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah,
You're
but
like, that car's good, but like don't beat it.
No, I was pretty proud of myself from how bad of a job I felt I did the first year, and then able to run a quick lap, but also be competitive.
Smart,
and
no mistakes.
I got to the lead at one point.
Right.
And then we won the race, so it was cool.
So when you're out there, like you don't know any of the people you're up
I
against,
know
right?
absolutely
It's
nobody.
gotta be so weird.
Like I thought like Jordan Taylor was old. I thought like I was racing the old man,
like
but
2 years younger than you.
yeah,
exactly.
I had no idea. I was like, man, who's this guy? He's good.
Yeah. Who is this old man?
That was super cool when,
funny.
speaking of the Taylors, when they won, and like after Bryan had passed, he sent out a picture, said he parked it. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. They're great kids.
I became bigger fans of
Yeah,
them after that
good.
too.
They're good
This year
dudes.
they were
And his mullet. That was
Money.
solid.
they were watching us practice at Daytona or something. They were standing like where we go through the garage area. So I like waved at them. And I checked Twitter later that night. They're like, oh my God, Kyle Larson just waved at us.
That's awesome.
They're like, I didn't know he knew who we were. But
thought he was this old man.
yeah, it's fun.
This dude's good.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I'm doing the Rolex this year because of prototype stuff.
Well, let's say, I mean, they're not running prototypes next year.
Yeah.
It's only the GT program, which does that keep you out because it's a Ford?
No, because I ran Ford. Their prototype stuff. Was
Oh, that's
Ford.
right. Okay.
So it wasn't. Yeah, I was okay to run that.
So if a third,
I bet that's what they'll do.
but say if a third Ford GT magically appears,
I'd love to drive it.
That's what. Well, that's what I was gonna say.
I was
It's
gonna
like
say,
that's
you
a
should be in
Ford.
it.
Yeah.
So how do we get you in, Ricky?
Let's get us three to do it.
Yeah.
No way that car finishes.
Hey, just 3 of us for the whole 24.
That's pretty normal.
That'd be kind of tricky
Just
though,
three,
because
yeah.
we're all like night people. We gotta have somebody that.
Who's gonna do the day?
Jamie. We can have Jamie.
McMurray.
Jamie will
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
gets up like
he's
super early in the morning.
McMurray.
Yeah. He can do the day shift.
Is Jamie old to you?
No.
Okay. Is that only because I'm in the room?
Jamie's a lot
Older.
older than he seems. Like he's in his, no. I'm saying
What
like
does that mean?
he's in his 40s, but like
He doesn't seem like
no,
it.
not at
I
all.
feel like he's in his 30s.
yeah.
I've never felt as old as I do right now.
No.
Right on. Okay. One of the things we like to ask on this show, you guys both probably have a similar answer, but who's the best guy out there, maybe in dirt, that we've never heard of? Like, and we know like who Rico is. We actually tried to get him
Yeah.
last year. We couldn't get him sorted out.
Well, now that Christopher Bell's somebody.
yeah, he's just somebody.
Yeah.
Who's the next guy? Like in 2 years, I'm going to be reading about like getting the Red Horse ride or something because he's so good.
I think Baston. I think Spencer
Spencer's
Baston.
good.
He's got a good family. He's
Yeah, Tanner's
good.
running late models and stuff now. I don't know. I don't know if he, like, I feel like when, like, Christopher went and ran late models, he, like, won right off the bat.
Yeah.
I don't know how Tanner, I really haven't paid attention.
Yeah, me either.
What's Tanner's full name?
Thorson.
Tanner Thorson. He runs.
Tanner Thorson. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he runs Keith's midget stuff as well. Spencer drove for Bryan last year.
Okay.
Spencer Basin
Yeah.
drove for Bryan's midget team and then switched over to Keith's team this year. He's pretty aggressive. He runs hard, and he's a good kid. I like him.
Ruffles a lot of feathers, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just pay attention to Keith Coon's midgets, and you'll figure out who's going to make it.
Okay, so for me, like for a guy like me, I really want to do a sprint car. And so a buddy of mine, Chris Dyson, I don't know if that name rings a bell at all. He's a longtime road racer. His family owned a road racing team for ages. Chris Dyson. He's done the Chili Bowl a couple times, but he's like, I think he's
You may have seen him on a Chili Bowl pool.
So he's like always telling me I got to go do the cruiseman school.
Corey's.
I
would say Corey's is the most legit to go do.
Yeah, that's the thing to go.
Yeah,
it's
Corey's
like,
awesome.
It's not too expensive. Like it looks like it's actually a really good deal to do.
Yeah.
But he's like, you got to go out there and do
His
that.
cars
for
are
like 3
nice.
days. Yeah.
He runs a good show.
Right.
And it might still be there. In 2007, we went out there and we were racing like Paris, California. We stopped in to see him, and it had like Corey Cruiseman driving school. I put a piece of tape on it and I put Ricky Stenhouse Jr. driving school. And like for the longest time, it was still there. It might still be there. I don't know. But he's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd recommend doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I really want to try that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you want to have like I think some people like give rides and stuff, but the cars aren't like real nice. But I feel like he keeps his program up like he's gonna go race it. You know? And so. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
You'd like it a lot.
I'm pretty – actually, Blaney's good in the rain. At least he was in go-karts that one time we went. You're good in the rain? Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. Thumbs up. Have another drink. Keep drinking.
Up.
Keep drinking. You're the after show.
Brian, did you just get in today? Did you this morning? Oh, yeah. You got to pass on my end.
he said he thought about getting a drink on the plane.
On the
too.
plane, naturally.
Hey, got to get going.
Yeah.
Got to warm it up.
We got a couple days.
The hell were we talking about? Yeah. Oh yeah. So I've always enjoyed the rain and like sliding cars around and just like that kind of. And Kenny Wallace drove with us a couple years ago at Daytona, and we were watching in car, and he saw me like sliding the car a lot, and he's like, "Oh, you'd love dirt." So he's always like trying to get me to run a dirt late model. Is that what he does, or he does like?
He does dirt modifieds.
Dirt modifieds. That's right.
Kenny's like the ultimate advertiser for dirt racing.
Yeah.
Like never did it growing up, and then all of a sudden started running modifieds and loves it.
Yeah.
Like that's all he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like he was supposed to do an interview with me, like in Michigan. He's like, "Hey, I was supposed to do this sit-down interview with you. Do you mind if so-and-so does it? I really got a dirt race I'd like to run." And I'm like, as long as Fox or whoever it was is fine with you, I'm okay with somebody else doing it. He's like, okay, good.
Cool, I'm out.
Like that's all he wants to do.
Yeah.
Super cool. Dirt racing's fun. I think, Kyle and I grew up doing it,
right.
And that's kind of always been our life. I grew up. I went to the dirt track. I was 6 weeks old the first time. My dad raced.
Yeah.
I grew up cleaning mud off his car, playing in the dirt.
Right.
Every week. Ever since I was 6 weeks old, we went. My mom took me every week, and so that's something that we've always been accustomed to. So even on the weekends now, we want to watch sprint car racing.
Right.
And there's so many there's getting to be more and more outlets to be able to watch it like live, even if you're not at the track. And I think that's kind of helped grow it as well.
Sure.
I think the companies that do that are starting to do very well and start showing more and more races on. It'd be nice to get them on TV all the time, but being on the computer is probably the next best thing live. I mean, everybody does something on their phone or on their computer anyway. So, streaming it right off the internet has been something I think helped grow in dirt racing a lot. And
it should be an easy sport to stream in the sense that, like, a 1/4 mile track is a lot easier to cover than a road
course.
course.
Need like one camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So.
Like I said, when it first started, it was one camera, but now you're like starting to get some different angles.
Yeah, they're starting to put it in.
Yeah,
right?
but I think because they're seeing people from across the country, across the world, tuning in to sprint car racing, and it's neat. I think sprint cars are. I just think they're the best thing to race.
Do you follow anything else, F1 or IndyCar or IMSA, anything like that?
I mean, I watch
you
it
can
all.
say no.
I watch it all.
It's all good.
It's Billy Johnson helps me out with
good friend of
some of the road race stuff, and we went out to a school, and he came up to.
You guys were out to like Miller, right?
We went out to Miller, and then
Yeah.
he came up to the Watkins Glen test with me,
Right.
and helped me out. And actually, in practice, like when we went back after the test in practice, I think I was like third fastest. A lot of people thought I missed the bus stop, but
Thanks,
I
guys.
came in and like guys are looking at me like,
Come on.
People
on.
next to us in the garage are like,
Yeah.
you missed that bus stop.
Come
didn't
on.
you? I was like, no, I promise.
Right.
And because I put a good lap up, but it was from Billy helping us.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I actually ran in 2006. I did some SCCA stuff for a guy out of Memphis, and I ran a Mazda Miata at Road America.
Yeah.
And
Probably the worst place to go in that car. But
dude, the straightaways were
Well, you check
forever
your watch
long.
the whole time. Yeah.
But I had this little Mini Cooper that was annoying the piss out of me. I would come off of the last corner, just blow by me.
Right.
And then like through some of the corners and stuff, 5, 6, 7, 8, the kink and stuff, I would beat them. And then here comes that Mini Cooper down the front straightaway and would pass me again. I'm like, I just want to run him off the road because I know if I go one front straightaway without him passing me, I could never see him
clear
there.
him, right.
Yeah, I was
That's how it is with the Rolex, though. With the prototype cars,
Yeah.
they get down the straightaways fast, but then was it the LMP
The PC
or
cars.
PC
whatever?
cars.
Yeah.
They get through the infield really fast. So it's I'm sure they get annoyed.
Yeah, I
with
drove one
prototype
of those
cars.
last year in the 24-hour, and
Yeah.
it's surprising that the PC car is actually a little bit better on the brakes because it's lighter and it's got
Yeah.
carbon and everything. But then through the infield, we're almost the same, and you guys are massively quicker in a straight
Yeah.
line, 20 miles an hour or something. Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
can't imagine I'd be nervous. I'm already always nervous running the prototype car, but if I was to do the GT car, at least with a prototype car, you're always out the front.
Yeah, and you're the fastest
Yeah,
car, right?
yeah,
The-
Right.
If you run anything slower, it'd be hard
Yeah.
to
It's a
get
skill
out of the
set,
way.
but
And
you get used to it.
And the Ford GT is actually an interesting challenge because, in the GTLM category, the PC cars actually have less power. And so down a straightaway, if you have a slow PC guy, you can't get them down the straight. Or they may back you up in a corner, and there's really not much you can do about it because they've got the straight line speed on you. So then you're really stuck in these weird spots.
So then you don't know BOP. What does the term driver rankings mean to you guys?
oh, that's also weird. There's gold,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
silver, bronze,
Yeah.
Now,
platinum.
You're also in a single driver category,
Right,
so it's
but-
a little bit of a different
But
thing.
let's just put this name out there. So John West Townley, his family owns Zaxby's, right? So he's paying to race. So in our series, they would call him a gentleman driver or an amateur. So they would rank him as an amateur so he could drive with a pro is the idea. They're trying to protect
Right.
guys like that self-fund their racing.
Yeah.
But then what they've
But
done
that's
is
also those guys are also how a lot of professional drivers get to race.
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Ryan
But
included for a while.
But in your world, you're just a race car driver.
Right.
Brendan Gaughan, he's self-sponsored by his
Yeah,
famous
obviously.
casino,
Yeah.
but he's just a race car driver.
Right.
You know what I mean? In our world, we felt this need apparently to label people amateur or pro, even though they're very talented.
Yeah.
So
You know what I mean?
say if
So-
Brendan Gaughan came back after running NASCAR
Yeah.
and stuff and doing all that he's done, coming back if he was sponsoring the team, he would still be an amateur.
Yeah. Yeah, they make him a silver.
It's a little more complicated, but
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys are all paid pros that kind of worked your way in, but there are guys that you race against all the time. You race against Brendan Gaughan in the Xfinity
Yeah.
series, and you don't look at him as anything other than a race car driver, right?
Right.
Yeah. Same thing with if a guy's paying to run his own dirt car, he's just a race car driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for some reason in
Well, in this
sports
day
car
and
racing,
age,
we've tried
there's
to.
so many people that have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
pay
you
for the
can't
ride,
label people. That's not good.
It's just dumb, but I love. I love hearing how it works over there.
That's just rude.
Yeah, I don't know. The sports car stuff confuses me.
Oh, trust me,
When I go to
none
confuses
of us
us
like it
too.
either. Yeah, no.
I
so-
only deal with it 1 week a year, though.
You're right. So, because you guys get to do a couple road course races a year, would you want to see more road course races for you guys? Because you guys all seem to love it and talk about it.
No, I hated it.
Is it because?
forever.
Okay.
No, I hated
Sure.
it forever.
Yeah.
We were at Watkins Glen testing, and I was 3 seconds off of the best car.
Right.
And I'm like, guys, there's no way I can, I can't drive this thing any faster. And I'm just assuming that I am terrible. And then we change a setup, and I went a second and 3/10 faster. I'm like, hang on.
Just that.
Just
Ju-
one
just
run
that.
to the next.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we need to work on this thing. And so we started working, and then by the time we came back to Watkins Glen, felt like our road course car was a lot better.
Right.
And then we were more competitive. So I just I think it's more me not knowing what to tell them to do,
Right.
or, because I'm not super comfortable turning right, and I'm like
on purpose.
on purpose.
Yeah,
I mean, I can turn right going left in a dirt car, but I don't really feel like a right-handed corner feels like super comfortable to me. But so I got to where I would say, like throughout the Watkins Glen weekend and through that test, I got to where I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, maybe not as bad as I thought. I just need to make sure that we work on our cars to get them better. So I would say I'm getting to where I like them.
Yeah,
I love them. I wish we had more on the Cup schedule. To me, it feels more like dirt racing. Like when we're out there, like Sonoma, like
dirt racing.
Like on ovals, our ride heights were like glued to the track.
Yeah.
Like road courses, you can like feel the car like flex around and get grip and stuff. And I feel like drivers kind of pay or become more important on road courses for sure. So especially when you can see like Mike McDowell, who is a road course guy, like do really good at Sonoma and Watkins Glen in a underfunded race team. It kind of shows that driver talent's more
kind of make a difference there.
prevalent on road courses and ovals.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, too much racing.
Dick
so
jokes,
we're
go.
here, back to dick jokes. So we're here at SEMA. You guys are all here for different sponsor commitments, right? Like, who are you here for, Ricky? I'll let you finish. We'll edit the pause.
Timing.
I'll take over. I'll let Ricky eat.
So Kyle, who are you here for at SEMA?
Yesterday I had to do a Chevy thing, and then tonight I have a Ineos motor oil dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's two things.
So there's a specific reason I'm asking, which is, we see this a lot in sports car. On the marketing side, we see it in IndyCar too. But on your end, I'm sure it's 1,000 times worse. Tell me about the biggest scam you got taken for, in the sense of like,
or attempted.
Yeah, like attempted scam, in the sense of like, was there a guy who kept calling you to dinner on some deal you got, and you got 3 dinners in and realized the whole thing was nonsense? Like, what are the big red flags for you?
I've heard of some stories like that.
Yeah.
One of those happened to Trevor Bain not long ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, was that the Lally Farms guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you not heard of this?
No.
Oh, wow. Do you know the story?
I don't know the full story, but I mean, like, I heard bits and pieces. Like, this guy was going to sponsor Trevor at, like, maybe Bristol or something.
Yeah.
Like, Trevor went to dinner with this guy.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it goes full circle. So this guy has the last name of Lally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And unrelated to him and unrelated to our Andy Lally, there's a Lally Farms, which apparently is a profitable venture of some sort.
Sure.
So this guy calls Trevor Bain, says he knows Andy because they're related somehow, and that they're all connected to this Lally Farms money. And, of course, Trevor figuring, well, okay, Andy's a NASCAR guy. I'm sure we're all in the same family, so why not? And they go through the whole dinner process. And this guy has apparently used Lally's name multiple times on different deals.
Wow.
Yeah, to the point that, like, he was, like, scalping Atlanta Braves tickets or
do
something.
remember
that. So, like, that's the only, like, crazy thing that I've really ever heard like that. Like, nothing's really...
Well, but you guys actually have real managers.
I was going to
correct?
say, you're probably
So
pretty protected.
you have a little protection.
When I was first starting, I have done some, this interviewer wanted to do a radio show. I swear this dude was doing it, like, in his mom's basement.
Right.
I'm like,
Oh, we've had those.
Yeah.
That's us.
restaurant in Las Vegas.
I
came all the way out here to SEMA to do this podcast.
Hey, we got Max Jones, man. We're getting
seems
somewhere.
flaky.
We're getting
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah. We hear a lot of those kind of stories in sports car racing a lot, because generally someone's paying for, like, we don't have the corporate sponsorship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of private funding and a lot of it.
So you got exposed. And we don't really have, I mean, I guess that's kind of my job, but sports car guys don't really have the filter of, like, you've got Joey, correct, or guys like that.
Yeah, we got
guys who can
Fire,
take the phone call and kind of say, like, oh, no, you're full of shit. And
Right.
Kinda,
Yeah.
filter them out.
I mean, we're a little busy to do that. I mean, we're golfing.
Well, actually, that's funny. It's,
Drinking
dirt
all day.
racing.
Yeah.
well, that's interesting. We actually we tried to hook up with you in Charlotte when we were there. Was that last week?
Yeah.
And Joey said you were on like a fishing trip or a golfing trip or something.
Probably
was
golfing.
Was it a sponsor thing?
Yeah, we were down in Charleston.
Right, that's cool.
Denny Hamlin had his charity event.
Okay.
So we went down there to do that. And that's a fun.
What? Yeah, we got it.
We got it.
Jesus.
We're good.
Look, we're just trying not to spend any money.
Yeah.
Race car drivers try to
Larson's
spend
like, how
no
quickly can we get out of here?
Yeah. Well, Larson's trying to go double his money at the blackjack table.
How much you up so far?
Oh, I haven't gambled.
We're up. We haven't gambled
last
Okay.
night.
All
and we
right.
haven't spent anything, so
All right.
we're up.
Give it a
I haven't done
Bitches.
good gambling
Like,
lately.
there's free food. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Is that
Gotta
the
eat
goal?
anyway.
Is the goal to see if you can spend nothing outside of on the tables?
That wasn't really a goal, but that's kind of always a goal.
Okay.
I'm like, we didn't set that for the week, but
Fair enough. Luckily, we're
Have
rich.
you ever? Do you guys ever? Well, you come out here for the NASCAR race. When you guys come out here, you stay in this part of the town, right? You don't stay out next-
sometimes.
Yeah.
Last couple times I've stayed out at the track.
Yeah.
but
yeah.
Ever since NASCAR changed the schedule, where we kind of hit all the West Coast races.
Yeah.
3 weeks in a row. I think we've all kind of started bringing our motorhomes
Yeah.
out here.
Right.
Yeah.
Where before I would.
It was
stay
bad
like
when you had to
Aria
go
or
to
something.
Phoenix or Texas to Phoenix to Martinsville to
I think with
Vegas.
Daytona,
You know.
Yeah.
Daytona, Phoenix, Vegas.
Yeah, and then back and then back to Fontana. Yeah, it was. But 3 races in a row.
It's so
kinda
much
helped.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. The cool thing about coming to SEMA with a racing thing is, like, as you guys probably know, so are you actually doing anything here? Yeah.
Ryan
Blaney.
Ryan
Yeah.
Blaney.
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Watch the sausage.
Yeah, I don't want to get the
Are
sauce
you,
on
are
the
you
wire.
here just to hang out and then go down, or are you here for an appearance?
Today I have off, which is
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Like they said before, they convinced me to come out early. And tomorrow I got a couple for Ford at
Right.
Discount Tire.
So who paid for your flight to get here?
The team.
Okay, cool.
great,
So
yeah.
So that's the best part about getting to come here like this.
Like I
It's
said,
like,
I've spent.
it doesn't cost you anything.
I've
Like,
spent no money either yet, which
exactly.
is great.
Exactly.
I did spend a little bit on Uber today, but that's all.
Yeah, it's a write-off.
Yeah.
You're gonna have that.
Well, they said send me your receipt. I'm like, all right, perfect. So I can send that receipt for $13.
$6, yeah, for Uber.
Are you going to actually do it? That's what I need to know.
No.
Okay.
No.
He's like, only because I'll forget.
How cheap is this? Kid?
Because I
Right.
don't want to put the effort in to.
Yeah, it's
Getting
not
your
worth the
receipt.
$13 of effort. I got
Yeah,
you.
I
yeah,
got
it's
that,
not worth my
so.
time. Yeah.
But yeah, Discount Tire actually has a really big showing out in SEMA.
Okay.
It's been a lot of fun to hang with that. That company is really good.
Right.
And we do a lot of stuff out at the Speedway. We'll do tomorrow, and they have a lot of employees out.
Yeah.
A bunch of
Oh,
people
so y'all
there.
don't do that here?
No,
or
it's-
like-
it's out at the racetrack.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's where we do everything with all their people.
Yeah.
So let's get into some really hard-hitting drama. Who do you hate in NASCAR?
Who do I hate in NASCAR?
I'm kidding. We ask people in sports car racing because we don't have any sponsorship.
Yeah, we don't have to
You
care.
know,
Oh,
no
yeah.
one's gonna get fired. They'll just be like, oh, he said he doesn't like that guy.
Yeah.
But one of the questions we asked last year to a lot of road racers is like, if you could punch someone in the face and get away with it, who would it be? Does that exist for you, or what's that? Townsend Bell.
Townsend Bell, almost universally.
Really?
Yeah. And then a guy named Gustavo Yakiman, who you probably have never heard of, but
Sounds like
if
somebody.
you watched a Rolex Series race in 2013 or 14 and there was
You'd
a crash,
understand.
he was in the middle of it.
If you just saw
Yeah.
a picture of
Yeah.
him, you'd already be pissed off.
So I think for our sport.
No, he was in a
He's a
prototype.
prototype guy.
Yeah,
have you seen that video of the
Townsend.
guy in the green Ferrari?
No,
who
at
was
Monza, right?
Yeah.
That's
Right,
C
like-
Street's teammate.
Oh, that's Marco's
That's Marco's guy.
Yeah,
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 Or
yeah.
like 5 times in like 2 laps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like some
That's-
wealthy dude that's got a license and he's out there just wrecking
Yeah.
over and
a
over
bad
and
day,
over
Like
man.
again.
that, but if you're going to be a sports car driver, that's the life of a pro driver, is to have that guy as
Yeah,
your teammate.
you're
Like,
gonna get paired up with that
His
sometimes.
pro co-driver is a really good friend of mine, and that's the job. You show up and just wait for this guy to crash, and then you go out and you do 3 laps in a wrecked car, and then you've done your job.
Yeah. You get
Oh,
in and the
wow.
wheels like this, you're like, oh, all right,
Yeah.
here we go.
I think in
Yeah.
NASCAR it changes. Seems like you'll go a month of running with the same person and you just get irritated. But
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
a month later it could be somebody else.
Right.
Because I feel like our cars change so much. You
Sure.
run with a group of cars, it seems like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you kind of get your car better, and then you're running with a different group of people.
Right.
Right. Do you hold grudges?
Nah, I think we forget about them pretty quick.
But you guys are running so much that
Yeah.
it's probably just gets lost in
Yeah,
the
we
wash
don't
after a while.
race. How many times does
Sports car racing series are generally 10 races a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
that's not near enough.
I raced in 2 this year.
2 series?
Continental Tire and then the
Yep.
World Challenge Series, and I probably was 22 races or something like that. And there's only 2 or 3 guys doing that, and I
Wow.
like it. It's fun, but a normal schedule is 10 to 12 races.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's also
Man.
a little different budget.
it's actually not that different. What's a season of Xfinity cost right now?
I don't know. 6?
Yeah, $6
Really?
million dollars for
Oh.
30
for
races.
30 plus races.
Do I-
Yeah. In a high-profile series.
Yeah, it's like 6 to 8, I think.
6 to 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
33.
Okay, that's way cheaper than I thought.
6 to 8 for 30-something races, whereas
In
if you're
really
going to run in
high-profile
the
events.
GT class of IMSA, it's like $3 million for 10 races that no one watches.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
if
think
you do the
if
numbers, it's
you do
actually
a 200 a race,
yeah.
it's 6.6.
You got the old
Yeah.
calculator out over there?
And that's like
Just so you know.
that's a team that's going to win.
Decent,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you can get more or less.
What's a truck season?
Ooh, that's a lot cheaper than
Maybe
Right.
I mean,
3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for-
three-
for
three's on the
20
high end.
20 something races or whatever.
That's for like a top
yeah.
Yeah, that's-
tier truck.
Yeah.
And again, people watch that.
Well, and that's why your boy Justin Marks, that's why he went over to short tracks.
Yeah, we had dinner with Justin the other day in Birkdale. Talked to them for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we
Justin's cool.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah,
we
met him a long time.
were with Landon Castle a couple days ago, and he's not a believer in the post-race techs after an incident. Like he feels like it's completely unnecessary. What's it going to really
Yeah.
solve? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I think we all probably feel the same way. It's our cars, like we try to move things on purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and people crash their cars on purpose.
Yeah.
So if everybody's doing their job, then you're not really going to have anything to tech because you're getting your stuff moved back. You're hitting the fences on, you know,
On purpose.
and everybody's
Yeah.
doing it. It's not like
The post-race
like-
text.
Text.
oh, text. I thought you were talking about tech.
Apologize.
Yeah, like-
yeah, I was like, where's this going?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about tech. I was like,
No, Landon's
Text.
like, after the race, I'm not texting
He's
you
not
to
texting
say
somebody to say,
it's
"Hey,
okay,
sorry, I hit
sorry.
you."
He's like,
Yeah.
whatever, I'll see you down the road.
well, he might get punched in the face.
There you go.
No.
There you go.
He does text our group text. We got a huge group text with everybody, and he is on it all the time.
I can see that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Not really apologizing or doing anything, but just like,
He's like, I'm
just
gonna
talking.
I'm gonna do that again next week.
I generally call.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
the same way. I like
or
to
I'll
play
see
the-
him at the race. Like
Yeah.
I crashed Paul Menard at Richmond. Like I said, you start running with these guys. Like I
Yeah.
crashed Paul Menard at Richmond on accident. Drove it in, got loose, hit him, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be super fast. So like I went to Chicago the next week, walked into his garage. Was like, hey guys,
Yeah.
you know, y'all had a rough year.
Right.
I ruined your day the other day. Talked to his guys.
Yeah.
Talked to him. You know. But then over the next month, we were all like next few races, we were always around each
Yeah,
other.
and you're like,
Right.
I can't hit this.
But that's
guy.
the thing. Is like sports car races, you'll have 3-4 weeks, a month in between
Yeah.
races and things can fester. But you guys, you'll see each other in 4 days. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, we'll
right.
figure it out.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so it's post race text.
Text.
Text. I thought it
Not
was
too worried about.
text.
Not too worried about tech.
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 I was like,
It's
oh,
all
sorry,
good.
NASCAR.
So
we heard everything you were saying. We actually could hear you.
We could
we
hear
could
you.
hear.
Yeah.
I can.
I'm not sure exactly what you said. but we can-
Yeah. It's not.
he flipped you off this week? Oh, yeah, because you moved
Wait,
him
who
out
is
of the way?
this? Who?
Landon.
I'll send post-race text sometimes.
Like, miss you.
Like if I can't, like, if I don't see the person, like, right after the race, I did. I was like, dude, sorry.
This is
Well,
Ryan.
I think, like,
This is Ryan Blaney talking, by the way.
He's a sweetheart.
What?
He's a sweetheart.
He's a
He's
sweetheart.
gonna
We
clear
kinda-
the air.
yeah. And then I waved you by. I was like, all right, you're going to pass me anyway. Just go on. Yeah, it was.
You know what was awesome about Martinsville? Well, there wasn't much awesome about Martinsville for me. I crashed early. So I was watching the race, and I'm like, oh, man, Kyle's going to win this thing. Like, he looks fast. Had a restart, and he just drove right up to the lead. Did you see that? Yeah, Larson.
Yep. No, I was back in 20th. I couldn't see it.
Yeah. Dude, well, better than me. I was watching on TV.
Right.
But Kyle drove right up to the lead. I'm like, dude, he looks good. Like, 20 laps later, whoa, I'm like, whoa, what happened? Yeah, so it seemed like there was a lot of people at Martinsville kind of
McMurray had a good.
either going
had a
good or
run
go
going.
like it just
I don't know where he ended
cycled
up.
a lot.
We were listening on the car because we were like driving through the desert. Yeah. He was like P4 or something for a little while.
Yeah, so that whole caution debacle thing, like he was behind me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
By the way,
11th.
what happened there? Like,
Nobody knows.
Like, how hard is it to
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, he lucked out and
plead
got
the fifth on that.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, right on.
I mean, I was watching. I know pretty good what happened.
Oh, okay. All right, so we do a pass-along question on the show. This morning we had breakfast with my boss, who is like a 7-time road racing champion, Peter Cunningham, and runs an Acura team and everything. And so his question was, what era would you have rather commenced your career in instead of now?
Probably the 80s.
Yeah.
Stock car racing in the 80s was, I think, super cool.
Right.
I think, even looking back at sprint car racing in like the 80s, those guys were ballsy.
Yeah, man.
And like looking at pictures of like my dad racing with like no headrest, no like I mean, those guys were crazy.
Yeah. What's a Hans
back
device?
when like Ryan's dad was racing sprint cars,
Right.
They were getting speed out of them, but the safety equipment wasn't keeping
Terrifying.
up.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, you don't really talk about it, but I think some of the reasons why we like racing is, there is a risk and it's
dangerous.
It's kind of fun.
So it
you know
makes it
what I mean?
exciting. Yeah.
I tell
like
a lot of
playing with
people,
fireworks.
like I like golf, but that's like the only thing that I like that, you don't really have a chance of getting hurt unless somebody hits you with a golf ball. But
Fireworks sales are always good,
right,
and they're always hurting people.
yeah.
It's literally selling
I mean,
explosions.
Logano and
They're
a
fun to
group
play
of us
with.
had a great Roman candle war one
Right,
time.
right. Knowing that you could lose an eyeball.
Well, we had helmets on, and I smoked him in the shield. So
Right.
body
Safety
limbs were going to
first.
be, but
right.
yeah, I think the 80s would be super cool to be racing in. Stock cars, sprint cars. Just seemed like that whole era was pretty cool.
I wish I'd have got to run like early 2000s of like USAC was tough.
Yeah.
Outlaws were tough.
That's
NASCAR
true.
was really, really popular at the time. So I'd pick that.
Yeah.
I don't know about who.
So we have a. Oh yeah. Let's see what this kid wants.
Ryan Blaney.
Blaney just wished he'd have grown up racing dirt.
I do, man. I really do.
How are you? Like, how did that not happen?
He wanted to be a moonshiner.
That's right. How did dirt not happen?
Yeah, like your uncle is like Mr.
Yeah, his dad. Like,
My
dad, right,
the
right.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Like,
My
But, like,
dad and his brother are big dirt racers.
Yeah.
and that's what they grew up doing. My grandfather started it. He started in the the 60s, and that era was crazy.
Yeah.
Talking about eras of racing because they didn't have any seat belts or roll cages back then when they started racing dirt. And when they implemented the seat belt, I remember being told a story about this. When they implemented the seat belt, you'd get laughed at because they
Right.
thought it was better to be thrown out of the car.
Than get
be
wrapped up
strapped
in
in
it.
and
Yeah,
roll
yeah,
and have
yeah.
it land on you. And then they implemented the little halo bar right
Yeah.
behind you, and then that was like the best thing ever. And then they got smart and actually had roll cages. But
that's so awesome.
I didn't. Yeah, it's crazy. They'd rather be thrown out of this race car if it flipped than stay in it. But just really growing up. I grew up in North Carolina. I was born in Ohio, but my dad got a chance to race NASCAR in the late 90s, early 2000s, and we moved to High Point, North Carolina, and there's no dirt stuff in that area. So I just did like the asphalt, late model stuff.
I mean, it worked out.
Yeah,
It
no,
worked
you're,
out
do,
okay.
you're
I
doing
mean, it
okay.
worked out.
It's
I
going
mean,
to
it's
get
like-
good for you eventually.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, I mean,
Well, I hope I can run that dirt stuff a little bit more. I used to test my dad cars. My dad's sprint cars used to build them, and but then I got the axe like 4 years ago to not even test them anymore. So
Dang.
haven't been in a dirt car since.
I have to talk to Roger. Let him get you to run like Chili Bowl and
Yeah.
like get your feet wet. Let's
I think Chili Bowl is the last thing I should do. I think that's the worst one I could go to.
no.
So Keselowski got to test an IndyCar.
He did.
Do you have any interest in doing anything like that? Like
Yeah.
trying to get a swap?
I do. I would love to do any type of racing except for MotoGP
Why?
because those guys are nuts, man.
I would agree.
But would you ride the bike just to go do a lap?
Dude, I don't know.
I would ride. I would ride.
Yeah,
but,
I'd go. I'd do.
I mean, as far as putting the handlebar on the ground,
nah.
Dude,
I don't want.
can't
I've
do it.
seen the
Those
death.
guys are
I've seen
insane.
the death wobble and the
Yeah.
chunk of the rider. I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah,
the Isle of Man videos
Oh,
ruined me.
dude.
Yeah.
On that
Heroes.
deal.
Heroes. All right, so tonight we're going to be having dinner with Brendan Gaughan.
Oh.
So any question you could think to ask Brendan Gaughan.
Brendan Gaughan.
Doesn't have to be racing related.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Ask him. I kind of want to know, like, so he wears his Georgetown jersey or something under his race suit every race. Has he ever changed it? Like, has it been the same jersey? It couldn't have been the same jersey forever. I guess he's
A little
grown
bigger
a
now,
little
right?
bit. But I wonder, like, does he wash it? Does he, like, because if it's like a lucky thing, like,
What's the ritual?
Yeah.
what's the ritual in that?
Yeah.
I mean, Allen Iverson did call him out in his Hall of Fame speech.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
cool. Yeah.
that was crazy.
Kyle?
Oh, do I have a question for him?
Yeah.
And how much do the slot machines really make him?
Yeah.
That's a good question. yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they rigged the slot
Maybe
machines.
ask him if he wants to sponsor a sprint car team.
There you go.
Because
For both
I've
of
got
us, yeah.
we've
Totally
both,
loaded.
Yeah.
Totally loaded
I mean,
questions.
South
Got it.
Point
Yeah.
Casino on some World of Outlaw sprint
Yeah,
cars
I
would
mean,
be awesome.
Outlaw
If you
team,
get
they
that
run
question
Vegas.
to me as quick as you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a
That'd be
written.
great.
I'm gonna need a signed contract.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you have a proposal? I could just take it over there with
I mean, the
them.
Outlaws, they do have a long West Coast swing.
they do. We run Vegas.
Yeah.
Run Vegas early in the season.
Vegas.
You guys know you
Paris.
can just talk to him when you see him. Like,
I know, but
tomorrow.
maybe if like you talk to him and then we talk to him,
Spark it. It'll
like
spark that.
he'll hear it like a few times and he's like, man, this must be pretty important.
These guys are really onto something.
Yeah.
In the words of Kenny Powers,
Lubing
lubing the deals.
Well, thanks for having us.
You don't. No, we sign off. You don't sign off.
Hey,
Damn.
my sign off.
Okay.
I'll just take it off and leave.
He's like, I'm out of here. All right, Brendan Gaughan question. Go.
Brian Blaney.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about the casinos. How much do they make a day?
Did you hear what they just said?
He's on his
the
phone.
How
He's
drunk are you right
checked
now?
out.
How drunk are you?
I've only had 7 of these. Well, they said how much the slot machines make a day.
Yeah, because his thing is the slot machines in the airport.
In the airport,
yeah,
he gets
Oh.
that's it. Those are
that's
his.
like his like.
Oh,
here you go, kiddo.
okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh? Never win in the airport.
No. I don't know what my question is, man. I don't know. I don't have a
all
question. I think they covered it all.
I think
Okay.
we got it.
All
I think
right.
they covered everything.
Ryan's question was casino stuff.
Casino
Go.
stuff. I don't
Casino
know.
stuff.
Just put that in.
Just
Yeah.
vaguely look
Actually,
away.
you should ask Ryan's question's gonna be: has he ever been like in a back room when they've caught people cheating? That would be
Oh,
super
I'm sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Count-
That'd be
counting
super
cards
cool
and
to see.
stuff.
I was just gonna ask Stenhouse. Who do you have
All right.
questions for?
I mean,
Yeah. You
That'd
ever,
be
You ever
awesome.
witness like anyone counting cards and
getting
Right,
getting their hands broke. or-
Sure. Yeah. Head in a vice.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, back in the day, like they've been here
like
forever.
Michael's.
Like,
Glory days,
we're
yeah.
having dinner at Michael's.
oh yeah,
dinner, which I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, no. Like this is not. He's like, that's fine. All right.
yeah,
All right, fair enough.
that's cool.
Cool. Well, you guys probably got to get going.
Yeah,
Do you know who that is?
Do you have any clue?
Okay, that is Bill Riley. The car you drove at
Oh,
Daytona is a
the-
Riley,
yeah, Riley,
Daytona
yeah.
prototype. Yeah, so we're
so
doing.
do y'all just carry him around?
Yeah,
or-
so
Yeah.
this is Flat Bill. He was on our podcast last year. He's like the coolest guy. He lives near you guys in Mooresville. He's the coolest guy. So he was like, "Dude, I want to go on the road with you guys." And we're like, done. so he didn't know what this was going on. So what we're doing is we're doing a Bill Riley rap video to launch season 2. And everybody's in it saying Bill Riley. And we're going to kind of weave
Yeah.
that into the music. He has no idea about any of that. So like we have Max Jones dancing on the sidewalk in front of Toast.
He was
No,
dancing.
Yeah,
he
we made it
literally
happen.
Immediately he's like, I can't believe I just did that.
yeah,
Like,
I'm definitely out on that.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I
But
don't dance.
yeah, Would
Ryan's
you-
had enough that he might dance.
Yeah, he's like, I already am. But what if you guys don't care? What we'd like you to do is just on video say Bill Riley.
Bill Riley.
Then that'll go on. the
Literally,
thing.
that's it.
So with that,
I would say
Bill.
Bill Riley.
Continental's got the check.
I'm finished.
Wow, that was such a great episode. That guest really knew how to tell a story.
I agree, Ryan, who's clearly sitting here right next to me. That Ricky Stenhouse is something else. And Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney.
You're welcome, Sean. I'm right here.
All right. Thank you to Ricky for coming out and joining us. Big shout out to Kyle and Ryan for having zero clue what they were walking into and just kind of going with it. That's it's always cool when you see guys being willing to do that. Also, shout out to Joey Denowitz for helping us put that together. And that's pretty much all we got. We're going to go back to a guy we've played a few times this season named Jarrod Gorbel. He's available on iTunes. You can spell it Jarrod Gorbel. I'm a big fan of his. He's got a great song called I'll Do Better. Enjoy.
Came to pick you up, the color of my eyes blazed, telling of the mistakes once again I made. You knew instantly, so disappointed, fell without warning, taking me forever to accept this weakness that I've been defeated. I need help, I need yours. Well, I have lost control and I can't be trusted. If I won't stop for you, I won't stop for myself. Give you all my love, but it's not enough. I'll do better, I'll do better, I swear I'll do better. Give you all my love, but it's not enough. I'll do better, I'll do better. 'Cause you're losing faith in me. It's frightening to think that conscience that I had somehow slipped away. I couldn't feel a thing. The devil's made a new friend. We get closer every day. Taking me forever to accept this weakness that I've been defeated. I need help, I need yours. Well, I've lost control and I can't be trusted. If I won't stop for you, I won't stop for myself. Give you all my love, but it's not enough. I'll do better, I'll do better, I swear I'll do better. Give you all my love, but it's not enough. I'll do better, I'll do better. 'Cause I want more than anything to prove that I am the one for you. Well, I want more than anything to prove that I am the one for you, for you. Give you all my love, but it's not enough. I'll do better, I'll do better, I swear I'll do better. Give you all my love, but it's not enough. I'll do better, I'll do better. Taking me forever to accept this weakness that I've been defeated. I need help, I need yours. Well, I have lost control and I can't be trusted. If I won't stop for you, I won't stop for myself. Yeah, give you all my love, but it's not enough. I'll do better, I'll do better. I'll do better, I swear